What's up and welcome back to Cooper Stuff. I'm so glad to be back. Today we're going to be talking about the legendary life. But first I got to tell you what's fresh.
It's fresh.
Obviously what's fresh today, Baby Groot. He's pretty cute actually, right? The last podcast we talked about Marvel and I said Endgame better be good, and it was absolutely just... It was everything I knew it could be. It was the return of the king for comic book films, all right? It was like the Black Album of Metallica albums. Even though I'll have to admit that in my old age, I'm starting to lean more on the side of Justice for All and Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets over Black Album, which I never thought would happen. I used to think it was a heresy. Now I'm starting to see the truth in all of that, but I just wanted to throw that out in there.
It's fresh.
So today's podcast is called The Legendary Life. And the reason I'm doing about legendary is because, as you might know, my band Skillet just released our brand new single. It is called Legendary, and it is top to the top. Hey, never gonna stop. Never gonna keep me down. So people have been wanting to know what the song Legendary is about, and I'm happy to tell you because secret, I want a whole bunch of people to go out and buy the album. Tell your friends. Hashtag hype. Hype it up. Hype. Short version is this. Everybody wants their life to matter. Nobody wants to get to the end of their life and just be like, I hope that I live for nothing. That would be sweet. And this song talks about the fact that you have a very short period of time that you are going to be on earth. So you need to make your life count. You need to make your life the way that you want it to be and be proud of what that is. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But first is this, you see, there's a spoiler alert that you might not know. You are not going to live forever. We love songs and movies about living forever, like my good friend Napoleon Dynamite. Or my good friend Rod Stewart. Or I wish I could say they're my friends, I don't know them, but Kiss without the makeup. For all of you who have always wondered what Kiss looks like without the makeup, that was it. Probably not one of their better ideas. It's like Kiss without the makeup is like Jeremy Camp without the biceps. Or like Robin without Batman. As much as we don't like to talk about it, we are not destined to live forever, all right? Probably the case in 200 years that no one is going to remember your name, and they're not going to remember my name. They're not going to remember Skillet. They might remember Metallica or something like that. Probably Star Wars. They might remember Iron Man. It's not a shock that we're not going to live forever, but there is this idea about being legendary that is in culture all the time right now, that what that means for your life is that all of us are going to live this amazing life, that we get rich and famous and we have all this money and everybody knows our name and there'll be statues for us because we were so absolutely awesome. And I think what I want to say to you, number one, is that that is not a realistic picture of what life is going to be like. So to me, what I define the legendary life to be is that I know who I am and I know the way that I want to live, and then I struggle and I fight every day in order to live that life. Live a life that I can be proud of, live a life for something that I believed in, for the people that I love, for my kids, for my wife, the people around me. I think the first place to start with this is expectations of what life is going to be. We kind of live in a culture right now where people are constantly talking about being amazing. There will never be a better you than you. You are so unique. You are so beautiful. You can do anything you put your mind to. Nothing can stop you. And I kind of like the fact that we are talking about positive things. There's like a positivity I think is what you could call it, that is in a lot of my music. I sing a lot about positivity because I think that's a really powerful thing. But there has become kind of what I would call an ultra positivity that is creating a little bit of an unrealistic expectations, because what it means to me to be great might be different than what it means to you to be great. There was a study a few years ago, probably I would say about 6 years ago, I believe it was 7 years ago at the time. It was saying for people 25 years and younger, that 1 out of every 4 people polled believed that they were going to become a YouTube star. And I remember reading that thinking certainly not 25% of people under 25 years old believe that they will become a YouTube star, but that is what they believe because they've been told so much how unique and how amazing they are and things like that. So I want to tell you a few of my thoughts about what it means to be unique and what it means to be realistic. First of all, going back to this YouTube star idea, I have to admit that in 2006, I was recording a record called Comatose at the time, and the studio we were recording at had, I think at the time, I think it was Fuse TV on or something. It was playing music videos constantly. And so during that 3-month period, I was watching a ton of music videos because when you record records, you work for 30 or 45 minutes or an hour straight, and then they have to like restring guitars or whatever, and so then you've got 45 minutes off, and it's a lot of like hurry up and wait. So I'd go in the lounge to do some emails or whatever, and it was on videos all the time. And there was a TV show on there that a lot of people knows called Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and I was like, what is this TV show? And I kept asking people, who are these people? And they're like, oh, they're really famous. And I would say, why? Because so let me rewind, spoiler alert, I'm really dumb. And I don't get stuff. I'm the very last person to understand things. And I'm very literal. So I kept asking, why are they famous? And like, oh, because they're on a TV show. But why are they on a TV show? Because they're famous. And I'd be like, famous for what? And they'd be like, they're famous just for being like rich or pretty or what. It never made any sense to me. And I still don't really understand how it started. But it was the idea that anyone could be turned into a star. And that started kind of become pervasive through culture. And now people just think, since I've been told that I'm amazing, I've been told that I'm beautiful, there's never going to be anybody else like me, then I probably could become a YouTube star. I'm not really funny. I'm not really talented. I'm not really a musician. I'm not necessarily beautiful or whatever it may be, but I just have a feeling that I have what it takes. So there's this weird expectation that has been, I honestly think it's from a lot of parents that would be my age that have been kind of feeding this into their kids. And there's a good side of it, which is that there's a positivity that you want your kids to believe in themselves, and you want them to not feel rejected, and you want them to feel loved, and you want them to feel special. But there needs to be a realism that comes in from a parenting side that I tell my kids what they're not good at, because I'm not doing them any favors if they actually think they're amazing singers and they get up on stage and they totally suck. I'm not actually being a good parent if I do so. So I want to talk about a few things about uniqueness. What I want to say about uniqueness has to be kind of coupled with a definition of what it means to be great, or, in this sense of the song, legendary, if you want to call it that. You are unique because you are not exactly made to be just like someone else. Philosophically, you could look at that from the point of view that we are all, created to be special. We are created from a unique, thing of DNA and blah, 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 science stuff that I don't understand, science stuff. Do you know? And I would also say theologically, it makes sense that we are all created to be individuals. I believe that from my faith in the Bible, that God has created each one of us to be unique. And I would say that does mean that we are created to be great. We are great in the sense that we are from a divine spark, and that we are loved by a creator who created John to have a big, thick beard, and then created someone else to look the way they look, and for me to have certain gifts that you might not have, and vice versa. That is what I believe makes us really great. The Bible says it like this. The Bible says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And the Bible talks a lot about the individualism that God gave to us, as the Bible puts it like this, that he knit us together in the womb, which is a really awesome Bible verse. This isn't just in Christianity. This is in lots of different religions that we believe, that the other religions also believe, that the Creator made us to be unique. So I would say that we are really special and we are really gifted. And so in that sense, there will never be a better you than you, or whatever they say. Where I think it gets confusing is that people take that idea of greatness, which I do think is real. We were loved by God, which gives us a worth. But the idea of greatness, which means that because I'm me, then I'm just awesome. Because I'm me and because you're you, that you can do anything in the whole world you want to do. And that is actually not true. You know, these people that are like, as long as you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want in the whole world. It's not true. Because I wanted to be a basketball NBA player more than anybody in the world. And the truth is I sucked and I worked really, really hard and I failed. That's what it's like. I meet people all the time that say, what do I have to do music? I have worked so hard and my dream never came true. And sometimes you just have to face the fact that you were not born with a certain amount of gifts that help you do your dreams. Doesn't mean your dreams aren't worth fighting for. And it doesn't mean that you aren't special. And it doesn't mean that you are now not worth something because you're not as good as someone else. It just means that's not the way that you were created, but you were created to do something different, which also gives you a unique worth, as I have a unique worth to play music or to do whatever that I'm good at. So the good news is that you are great and you are amazing because you're loved by a creator. Because he took the time to uniquely make you the way he wanted to make you, because it would bring him glory. And that is a really great thing. But it doesn't mean that you're great in the sense that you are uniquely excellent at everything you want to do, nor does it mean you will be uniquely more excellent than someone else. I kind of view it like this. I have 2 kids. Sometimes I wish I had 6 because my kids are so amazing and they are so very, very different, my kids are. And I really love that one of my kids might be really, really great at math. My son is like wicked smart at math and he understands these things that I already don't understand. I cannot help him with algebra. And once it gets to geometry, forget about it. Of course, geometry feels to me like it's almost like a doctrine of demons. Almost like if the devil wanted to punish me forever, it would be like through some sort of geometrical shapes. But my son is wicked smart at math, whereas my daughter is wicked amazing at writing. And I just love that they're really different. And I wouldn't want my son to be any different, and I wouldn't want my daughter to be any different. That might sound cheesy to some people, but that is, I think, a very small picture of when I look at my kids, I'm like, oh, they're so amazing, they're so great. It doesn't actually mean that they're amazing at every single thing that they do. And there are things that I've had to tell my kids, I love that you love to do that, but no, I don't think you'll be able to make a living doing that. I don't think you should go to school to learn to do that because you're not really gifted at it. And that's not because I'm a mean parent, it's because I'm a good parent. That's what parents are supposed to do. So all of this to say, living a legendary life, in my view, and what the song's view, is not about saying that you're going to be the best at everything you do. The whole world's going to know your name. In 200 years, they're going to build statues to you about how great you were. No one's going to know the name of Skillet. They will know the name of Skillet for something that people used to make food on, like fry eggs. But the robot chickens in the future will not. Will robot chickens in the future have eggs? I don't know how that's going to work. We'll figure it out. Here's a disturbing irony for you. Here's what I want in the future. I want a robot chicken making me eggs. Come on, like real eggs. That's so, I don't even know. That's the dumbest thing I've ever said on film. To me, living the legendary life is about this, that I want to know who I am supposed to be, And I want to live my life in accordance with that. I want to get to the end of my life not hoping that I will be remembered forever. I want to get to the end of my life being proud of how I've lived. End of my life saying, I did what I was supposed to do. I made mistakes. I messed up, but I recorrected and I fought my way to the very end to live a life that I can be proud of. I think one thing to think about is this. Most everybody that I know really hates hypocrisy. And we don't just hate it in other people, we hate hypocrisy within ourselves. Like, I'll give you an example. This is just hypothetical. I've known a lot of vegetarians in my life, and I dabbled in vegetarianism for a little while based on conversations with other people that they inspired me that animals were being abused or, lots of other things we won't get into. I'm not a vegetarian, but I dabbled in it for a while, and I think the longest period I ever went vegetarian was about 6 months. I didn't have meat in for that time. But what would be really annoying to me would be when I see other people say, yeah, I'm a vegetarian, and then they would be eating meat. And so I'd be like, I thought you said you're a vegetarian. And they'd be like, well, I am. I eat like a steak every 2 weeks or something like that. And I would be like, that's not what it means to be vegetarian. I didn't even actually really care because I don't believe it's wrong to eat animals in any way. I don't believe that. Mine was more kind of like out of a friendship that I had with someone, and it meant a great deal to them. And my faith meant a whole lot to me. So we were kind of trying out each other's views, if you meant. He was kind of trying out the idea of Christianity and prayer. I was trying out vegetarianism. I could not try out veganism because I can't not eat like cheese and stuff, right?
I love cheese. 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 I really love the cheese.
But to see other people say they're vegetarian and then eat meat is just really annoying. I have lots of stuff about that in my own life, about my faith, that I do not want to be a hypocrite. It's like when you see religious people that say that they're religious or they pray or this, but then they're really mean to people or they have really racist views or things like that can be really frustrating. You go, wait a minute. I thought that you said that you were a Christian, but you're doing these things, and these things are really ugly and hypocritical. Hypocrisy to me is one of the most disgusting things there are. So for me, I would much rather hang out with somebody who totally disagrees with my views, that hates Christianity, thinks that Jesus is stupid. Me and that person can be friends and not have any issues at all. I prefer that than hanging out with people that say they're a Christian like I am, but don't live out their Christianity, and it's confusing. I don't love that because I think there should be a bar that we should be living for, and you should do what you say. To me, living the legendary life would be saying, here's the things I want to do in my life, and I lived them the best I could, and I got to the end of my life, and I am proud of who I was. Maybe I'll give you a few examples to me of what that legendary life means specifically. For me, I want to be a good parent. I want my kids to know that they are loved. I want my kids to feel special. Again, special in a real sense, which is that they matter to me. I created them. Of course, I believe that God created them through me. They belong to me while we're here on this earth. And I want them to always know they can always talk to me about anything. But I want my kids to be able to look at me and say, my dad always talked about the way that I should act, that I should love people, I should treat other people the way I want to be treated, that I shouldn't judge people, that I should have friends that are not like me and believe different things about faith and politics and life. And not only did my dad teach me that, but my dad also lived that. That's very important to me. To me, that is a really great way to live your life. Another thing that's important to me would be the way that I treat my employees. I have 15 employees for Skillet, and I always want my employees paid on time. And if things go good for my business, I want to always bonus my employees. I don't want to be the guy at the top that gets all the rewards and all these people working for me never get to kind of share in the excitement. The fruits of our labor is what they call it, fruits. I don't even really love fruit, but it's a really good metaphor, fruits of labor. Knowing that my employees are taken care of is also very important to me. Another thing that I think is legendary for me personally And it's because it's also mandated in the Bible, which is, the Bible is very important to me, is helping the poor. It's looking for opportunities to help people that are more needy than me, things that you can give money to. Something that I personally really love is St. Jude. St. Jude does awesome work for children with cancer. And St. Jude never turns anybody away because the families can't afford cancer treatment. Seeing young kids go through cancer is such a heartbreaking thing. So I look at my life and I say, you know what? God has given me the means to help other people. And I don't want to just talk about my faith. I want to do my faith. And to me, those are the kind of things, to me, that make a legendary life. And at the very end of it, I can look back and say, I made tons of mistakes. There's a lot of things I'm not proud of, but I am proud of the fact that I kept fighting my way to the top, to live my life in action with the words that I would speak. I guess I could say that the legendary life is wrapped up in this really great word and concept of humility. It is kind of a dichotomy, the legendary life. It is on this side that I am small and insignificant. You know, my life is going to be 70 years if I'm lucky, 80 years if I'm lucky. No one's guaranteed that, but that's what we're all shooting for. 80 years compared to the thousands of years of human history that we've seen. It's a very small, insignificant life that I am living. But at the same time, I am important to God because He created me and He gave me gifts that I can share with the world. Some things I might be good at, some things I might suck really bad at. And there's a humility of saying whatever I've been given has been given by God to bring Him glory, and I'm comfortable being who I am. And I make tons of mistakes, do tons of things that I'm not proud of, but I'm going to keep fighting to be who I want to be and who I feel called to be. The last thing I'll say about it, because it ties back into my song Legendary, which is why this started, there is a line on the chorus that I think very much specifically wraps up what I would like to do in my music career. And with Skillet's music career, you see, there over the last 20 years, there have been a lot of people saying, John, if you guys want to break out and get to be a big band, then you need to change some things about yourselves. And one of the things that you guys could change is that girls shouldn't be in rock bands. You don't hear that as much anymore because now there's a lot of girls in rock bands, but 15 years ago there was not. And people would say, girls just don't belong in rock and roll. That's not very cool. We don't want girls singing in rock bands. And of course you see that a little bit more now too, but we used to always get hammered from people saying it's too much girls in the band. We don't like the keyboards. We don't like the orchestra, the strings. But the biggest thing that I always say is, I would say, John, if you want to be taken seriously and become a big rock act, you have to stop talking about Jesus. You have to act like you're not really a Christian band. Tell people that you were never a Christian band because they won't take you seriously. And I am very proud, not in an arrogant way, but I'm very happy with the way that me and my wife Corey stood up to that. And we just said, you know what, I would rather not be a big band and stand up for what I believe in and not be a hypocrite. I would rather not sell the records and not be a hypocrite than to say, oh yeah, no, we were never a Christian band. I don't sing about Jesus, and then sell a whole bunch of records. Because to me, that would be such a sellout and such a that would be the opposite of the legendary life. Even if it meant that I made a ton of money and sold a ton of records and got famous and had the statue built to me, which would never happen, but you get my point. Even if it meant that, some people might say that was more legendary. I would say that was the absolute epic fail. And I don't want to be an epic fail. I want to be who I want to be. And I want to be proud of that. So to me, that has been the number one thing that I've been most proud of in my career. And it is wrapped up in the single lyric in the chorus of Legendary that says, never gonna keep me down, still the one that's standing now. I love that. And that's what was on my mind when I was writing it. All those people that kept saying, you got to stop doing this, or you're never going to make it. We're still here, 12 million records later. And I want to thank all the fans for being with us, for helping us get here, helping us stick to who we are and live the legendary life.
How do you know that?
Today's How Do You Know That? We go to the book of Matthew 16:26. What good is it for a man to gain the whole world but to lose his own soul? Is anything worth more than your soul?
Ha! Hallelujah! Woo!
Thanks so much for watching Cooper Stuff. From here on out, live the legendary life and tell everybody you know about Skillet's new record. It comes out August 2nd. The record is called Victorious. The song is called Legendary. Check it out now. It's available Spotify or pre-order the record at skillet.com. Peace. Keep rocking. We'll see you soon.
Cooper Stuff!
I love cheese. I love cheese. I love cheese. I love cheese so much. I love cheese so much. So give me some nom 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 nom.